Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Okay, let's talk about the Stamp situation. No matter what John Hufnagel decides, there's going to be a quarterback controversy, whether he goes with Drew Tate or whether he goes with Kevin Glenn. They make the decision. Let's just, you and me, talk about the benefits. First of all, Kevin Glenn, I never thought he'd have the success that he'd have this year. I thought the Stampeders were lucky. You take 3 wins against the Edmonton Eskimos, and this is a team that I thought got lucky, won a few games when they shouldn't have, but they still have to count them. Now, do you take Kevin Glenn in there and what he's done and have your ace in your hole in Drew Tate, who hasn't played all year, but could rally somebody if they were behind or if they needed that push should he get injured?
It's an interesting conundrum, isn't it? Because whatever decision gets made, if they lose, it's a bad decision. If they win, it's a good decision. So it's hard to judge whether this is going to be the right one or the wrong one until the playoffs are over. The question I have, some of the questions I have, if you make a decision now, is that your quarterback thick or thin?
Yeah.
Or is that he's going in to start, we'll see how it goes, the other guy's coming in? Kevin Glenn might be better off the bench. We don't know that. Yeah. Kevin Glenn's one of these guys that when he starts out, his first couple of drives are very, very important because he can be either, he'll start hot, stay hot. If he starts cold, he stays cold.
Yep.
So maybe you start him, see how he goes. If he's hot, leave him in there. If he's cold, go back to Tate real quick. Tate's one of these guys that seems like he might be better off, getting the start, knowing in advance, being able to prepare. He's got a lot to prove because of last year's playoff loss in Edmonton where he just dropped the ball and it was a key touchdown the other way. They were going in to have almost a 2-score lead at that point. It would have been a big commanding lead against the Eskimos in their park, and then Jerome Messam got hurt, so it would have had that sequence of events kept going. It would have been a massive change. To me, I'm thinking I would go with Kevin Glenn, but only because the way he has handled himself through this whole process, and especially the last 2 weeks, with splitting time and not being the guy, and still coming in that Edmonton game and getting a touchdown pass, moving the offense, keeping things rolling. I would go with him because he is the safe bet. But if you're willing to risk, go for all the money, go all in, go with Drew Tate.
Let me ask you this, just watching on the sidelines and watching the game the other night and watching his interaction with some of the players on TV, you get the feeling that he's kind of hypersensitive and he's acting a little bit like a prima donna prick.
Drew Tate.
Drew Tate.
Yeah. Well, and Drew is very, very competitive, and now every guy that gets to the CFL is competitive because you have to have a competitive edge. He has a real fire intensity in him when he's out there playing. So he gets into the huddle, he calls a play wrong. The guy that he thought was supposed to be in a different spot, he throws deep and it's just a ball to no one. At that moment, he didn't know he did it wrong. He didn't know he called the play wrong, so he goes over to the sidelines and they scream it out. And then once he figures it out afterwards, he was like, "Yeah, I was wrong. That's my fire intensity that shows when he in a situation like that." Now that's some of the things that you're going to have to deal with Drew Tate. He hasn't had enough reps to get all those kinks ironed out.
There you go. There you go. That's the reason you don't start the guy.
He needs a couple more weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they think he's going to catch fire and put it all together, would this be the week that is all good? Because now he's had 2 games. That's a preseason. 3 or 4 weeks on the roster before that. That's training camp. His first game of the year, he was lights out.
Yep.
Against Montreal.
When was that?
They beat the crap out of
July?
They beat the crap out of the Montreal Alouettes on July 1st.
Yeah.
This could be week 1 of the season.
Yeah.